Okay, so as Brian was saying, we start with the questions in the forum. So I posted this. Delight has contributed over 1,000 designs in our Make the Cut gallery in the software, and I was exploring some of her designs, background designs. She calls them frets, panels, tiles, and I was looking through the backgrounds because I really like lacy, frilly kind of designs, and I like to fill a solid shape with these designs. So as I was looking through all that we have available in our gallery, I started playing around. I started just with a simple heart shape, but you could really do this with any shape that you would like. So I'm going to show you a simple technique for transferring parts of some of those available designs into a solid shape to make some very interesting designs, and then I'll show you how to combine those one of those designs into this clover shamrock design. So we'll get started now and make the cut. First, I went through, and in the gallery, you can open the gallery by clicking on this icon center of the top toolbar that looks like a tic-tac-toe board, and I just typed in backgrounds. In this particular one, I was looking for leaves, so I went through and searched, looked through the different leaves, and I found a background in here of leaves that I could use. So I'll show you. That was this particular one. So when I found it, I just clicked on download. But you can also search for tiles, and there are 46 different tile patterns here. You can search for frets and find all kinds of designs here. I went through and just, you can do backgrounds. I downloaded the ones that I thought I might like to use, and you can do the same. There's 6 pages here of backgrounds, 58 files, so there's no lack of material here. So what I'm going to do, I think I will start with the leaves one here. But I started with this shape that I found in the gallery, and I ended up with a heart with a frame, plain heart. This is the heart I started with. This is what I ended up with the lacy edge. Here's just a frame, and here's a heart in the background with a frame around it. So you really have your choice of what you want to do with it. So what I do first is I go to my green screen so I can see through my shape, and I add the background that I would like to use. So I need to add my heart, so I'll go to Basic Shapes, type in HE, first 2 letters of the shape I'm looking for, and I'm going to use Heart 4. Double click on it, and it appears on my screen. I'm going to send it to its own layer by clicking on the smaller of the 2 green plus icons in the lower right corner. So you see it right there. And then I'm going to eyeball it and resize it with the corner resizing handles. And what I'm looking for here is what part of the design do I want to capture in my heart. So wherever I put it down on the screen, I'm looking through the heart heart design to see what elements am I going to pick up when I do this process. Once I know what I want, then I'm ready to go. So I'm going to click on the heart and go to Edit, Duplicate, and Nested Duplicate. And I'm doing this because I want to create a frame to which I'm going to weld the Lacy design. So I need 2 more hearts, so I put the count at 2. They don't need to be a lot different in size, so I put the gap at 0.1, and I'm going to use the shadowing feature. And I just picked a couple different colors just so that I can see the different hearts that I get, and then I click on Preview. So this has given me 3 different color heart shapes, and that looks good, so I'll click on Accept. What I want to do first is click on the inside heart, hold the Shift key, and click on the outside heart and join them. That gives me the frame that I want to put around my finished design. Now what I want to do is click on the, I clicked away first to deselect, and I would click on the center to click the medium size heart, hold the Shift key, and select the background design that I want to use. Now, when I do this process, I lose the heart and the background, and I really don't want to lose them. So what I'm going to do is hold Control, Shift, and click, so I've got 2 of everything. And now I'm going to go to Boolean Join with those 2 selected. Click that. And I'm going to use Intersect because I want to keep the portion of the design where the 2 designs intersect, and apply. I'll show you what that gives me. This was the heart that I didn't duplicate. But here is the resulting heart. Now it looks okay, but it needs a frame around it. And I've got a frame here. I'm going to duplicate it, Control Shift click, and bring it around my heart. Now, if you aren't careful, you won't line these up right. I'm selecting them both and typing stack, and I want to make sure that both designs are centered and that when I weld them, all the edges will be cut. So I'm going to click on Weld, and now I have a new design. I'm going to switch this to contrast so you can see this. So I have now a heart shape, frilly heart shape. I have the original shape here. If I move it up to its own layer, I can change its color to whatever I want. I think I want it lighter in color. And I'll move that lighter color to the background by right-clicking its name and move layer to the bottom. So now I can see the design here. Now, if I want to have scalloped edges around it, I have to decide, well, do I want scalloped edges around the heart, the background, or do I just want a single piece with scalloped edges on the back, on the frame? So for that purpose, I saved this frame so that I could add the scallops to it. That makes it easier. So I'll move these out of the way, and now I'm going to add some scallops to this frame and then decide if I want to add those to my final design or not. And you can make different versions for what you would like to do. On the scallops, what I do is go to Basic Shapes and type in CI, and I'm going to grab the half circle, double click, and I need to resize it and flip it over, so I'll just click the third icon from the left to flip it, and on the size I'll make it a 0.5 and enter. So if I hold my control key and drag, I get a design here, and I can repeat the count as many times as I want. I can change the offset a little bit to make it closer to where I want, and I really only want pieces of this design on 1/2 of the design so that I can copy and paste. I can increase the spacing a little so that this piece down here at the bottom is closer to the edge. And I've got an extra one here that I can use to place at the bottom curve, maybe a little bit more spacing. And when it looks good to you, that's fine. I'm going to click on accept. I've got a repeat count of 15. I think I'll just keep it at 14 here. And my spacing is 0.009, but it depends on the size of your heart how many times it's going to go around. And vertical alignment I have at 150% so that these shapes are near the edge of my frame. And when I have it the way I like it, I'll click accept. And while they're selected, I'm going to hit Control and Shift and click on them to get another set. So if I click on mirror, that's the second icon on the left on the bottom toolbar, then hold a Control and use the left arrow key, I can move these into position on the left side of the design. Now all I need to do is add a little circle here and one at the bottom. I can take, let's say this one, Control Shift click, and drag that away, and I'll click it again to get the rotation arrows. Then I can move it into place. Now that I have that one in place, I can go Control Shift click and drag it up and flip it and move it into position. And once I have those the way I like them, I can select all of them and weld. Now I have my frame. If I don't like the little hole there, I can break that apart and grab that little hole and delete it with my delete key. Now and also if I want it to be a solid background to put behind this shape, I will grab it, Control Shift click, and move the duplicate over here. And then I can join this again, so I've got a scalloped frame. So I'm going to send this to its own layer, maybe change it to burgundy, and I've got this shape here, send it to its own layer and maybe make it a light pink. So I have a lot of different pieces now that I can work with. I can put this on top of the heart, move it to the top, select all of it and type S to stack it in the center. So I've got this design that I can use this way. Or if I like, I can grab this design. It's a little bigger. And I can weld it. I'll type S. I can weld those two together if I'd like the design to be scalloped here. I'll make a copy, so, well, I've got a copy up here. So if I weld that, I've got a design with scallops here. I've got the design without scallops. I've got a plain background if I prefer that, or I've got a scallop background. So the sky's the limit on what you can do with backgrounds. And you can position these any way you want.